So I've said before, I'm not going to necessarily agree with everything that, Labour does. You look at the winter fuel allowance. I have been very clear. I think cutting, or should we say means testing, which I think is the real way you should be calling it. I almost did it myself then. Means testing the winter fuel allowance, I think is perfectly fine. Because remember, even under these plans that they're going to go with, the pensioners who need it most, meaning if you are on pension credits or receiving benefits, you will still receive the winter fuel allowance. Now, of course, this has kicked up a lot of fuss about many pensioners who still don't get it. So, okay, let's relook at it. Let's reassess it. Maybe again, we means test it so like the threshold is a little bit higher. But I've said this before. We've even covered this, I think, before. Many pensioners out there do not need the winter fuel allowance. To them, it's extra money. Now, again, we all, I think, love receiving extra money. No one hates suddenly finding out they've been given an extra, £200. But bear in mind, when we look at the biggest cost to like the entire benefit system, people think, oh, it's people on job seekers allowance, etc. No, it's not. It's pensions and everything to sort of do with that. That is the biggest slice of this stuff. So going after this stuff, I think, does set a very different way Starmer is doing things. I always said he'd do something different. Again, I kind of like that it is becoming means tested. I think you can have conversations about how much and where that threshold should be. I think that's perfectly fine. But I absolutely think this is something that should be means tested. But one thing in particular I want to talk about today is, because many people might not know this, in this parliament, we broke another record, believe it or not. Because for the very first time, there's over 335 brand new MPs in Parliament. This year, people are being supported, being represented for the very first time by an MP who has never been in Parliament before. 335 of them. Vast majority of those people on the Labour benches. And there is, remember, Wednesday, select committee appointments, voting starts, and selection of who gets on what select committees. And I really do think, and we're going to see it in a moment because there's a big hoo-ha in Labour at the moment about this, about these new MPs being appointed jobs while other MPs are a bit annoyed that, quote, they didn't get the job. Now, we've all been there. We've all been for a job. We've applied for a job. We didn't get it. We've all felt disappointed, etc. But when you've got such a brand new crop of MPs with new eyes, new experiences, why not use them? Why not go for them? And now, why not use that talent that you could have? Don't necessarily just go for the obvious choice. And this is what Keir Starmer is doing. He is not just going for the obvious choice. And I think this could very well reveal a whole new slew of brand new, very talented MPs that could really bring themselves to the forefront. So I think this is absolutely a fantastic move from Starmer doing this. I really think it is, because you need these new people with new talent, bringing fresh eyes to the table. And remember, the past couple of years, a lot of people have talked about this, like how much they hate career politicians. So the next time you hear someone complain about, career politicians or anything like that, remind them that in this parliament at the moment, there's over 335 brand new MPs. They've never been an MP before. So that's I think, worth reminding people about this new parliament, and that is a brand new record-breaking thing that this parliament has done. Are these MPs going to get everything right first time? No, I definitely think, new MPs are going to make mistakes. But so then do old MPs, who've been around a while as well. So, I think this is something that has been a long time coming, having new MPs, because people always talk, oh, these career MPs, etc., etc. Well, next time you hear something like that, tell them that statistic. You know, see what their reaction is. But I just want to go over this because I think this is something important as well, because this comes up came up today as well about these new MPs. Miri Tidball, again, herself a brand new MP, pushing to get on one of these new select committees. So this is what they have to say about her. So, newly elected Labour MP does now urge colleagues not to overlook the 2024 intake, as she's now defended her decision to run for the chair of a very influential select committee only weeks after being elected. Marie I think I'm saying this right, Tideball, I think I'm saying it right, said that the historically large 2024 cohort of MPs would now offer fresh eyes and fresh experience to Parliament and government, as she now bids to be the head of the Education Select Committee. And I think her experience is really good. So this is what she also has to say on this. She said, I think it is incumbent upon us to give the grave and difficult problems this country is facing when we have the skills and experience to be able to do the very best for this country. We ought to now use those skills and experience. We need a vast range of different voices and experiences from professional, different backgrounds, with different within the select committees, and even now coming at problems that have faced us for a very long time with fresh eyes and fresh experience. You've got a whole load of new MPs that haven't spent their life in politics. They have lots of skills and worked in now a variety of different areas. Let us draw on them. Let us offer the very best to this country so that we can come up with new solutions that it needs to move these issues forwards. So, again, I think she's right. And she comes down to here, like, why is she going for this background? Well, I think she's one of the very few disabled MPs, I think, that are currently in Parliament. And again, I think that's great that we do have people like her now represented in Parliament. So she goes on to talk about, because this is the education one she's going on. So she said, I missed over 3 years of school because of the surgeries that I needed. I believe that experience now means that I get not that everyone now has a very linear education pathway, and that we need to think about how we can get children that for all sorts of reasons have now missed periods of school back into school and staying in school. Can't disagree with her. I mean, there is a big discussion about again between educators about how linear our pathway for like education is. But if you know anything about education yourself, like think about where you were now to where you were maybe just leaving school, or back when you were in school. Most people end up getting more education when they're outside of school when they're not, for various different reasons. Education is not just a linear path. And I think having someone like that on the select committee, I think is very good. I think that will bring a brand new, fresh pair of eyes to things like this. I think that is a very good thing to see. So, like I say, let me know what you think down below. But I think from a lot of these new talent we are seeing, not only just in select committees, but put in junior ministerial posts as well, because it's not just her going for the select committee. We've also got so we've got a guy called Mike Tapp now is running for the Justice Select Committee. David Pinto-Dusky is now going for the Work and Pensions Committee. Alison MacDonald now seeking to be head of the International Development Committee. Sean Davis running for the Housing and Local Governments Committee. Ministerial jobs, you've got Georgia Gold, who's in the Cabinet Office. Hamish Falconer, Foreign Office. Mita Fash, I don't know how you say this. Fasha Bluton, I think that's how you say it, as potentially Energy Minister. So there's a lot of new colleagues, a lot of new MPs going out there for these positions. And I do think that is quite good that you've got a lot of these MPs who want to make a difference and are not being afraid to stand up and say, I've got new ideas, I've got a fresh perspective, I want to give this a go. And I think when you've got such a wide range of pool of talent you can draw on, is really, really good to see Starmer drawing from that pool. And I want to see that be drawn. And like I say, we'll see this week what happens with the select committees and who gets to chair what and etc. So again, I wish all these people luck. And again, I do hope Starmer does use some of these new MPs. Because I think it will be very, very good indeed for politics. So, as always, let me know what you think down below. And of course, as always, we'll see you all next time.